Howdy, Immortalium here, and today I want to have a discussion on 4-koma manga. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what 4-koma manga is, it's also referred to as yonkoma. 4-koma manga is a style of telling stories through manga in which there are 4 panels from top to bottom, delivering a kind of a punchline. It's commonly used when it comes to comedy manga. As you might imagine, there's a lot of good kind of built up on punchlines that we found in comedy. Recently, I actually found a lot of very interesting information with regards to 4-koma, and so I thought I might go into it a bit. So first off, let's take a look at the structure of 4-koma. Now, I actually found it really interesting when I found out that the actual structure of 4-koma is actually a very commonly used storytelling structure in Japan called Kisho Tenketsu. Kisho Tenketsu is a specific structure for telling a story, and it's widely used in a wide variety of mediums, not just in manga, but also used in anime films, in live action media, in regular novels, in video games, etc., etc. It's very, very commonly used. But the great thing about comparing it to a 4-koma manga is that literally each panel of the manga represents a certain beat within that story structure. So to break it down, Ki, which is the first panel, is about setup. It's about establishing the characters or possibly the situation, depending on whether these characters are recurring or if you know them from other sources. The second panel is Sho, and Sho basically refers to development. It's developing the situation. Then it's Ten, and 10 basically is the climax. Usually there's a bit of a revelation within this panel, something that might turn the story on its head. And then the final panel is Ketsu. And Ketsu is basically a conclusion, just kind of the characters reacting to this revelation, clarifying it, etc., etc. And it's a surprisingly effective structure. And because of that, 4-koma has become an incredibly popular way to tell stories in Japan. You see it in all sorts of media. You see it in newspapers, you see it in advertisements, you see it in manga in various forms, and I'll get onto that in a moment. It's just everywhere. But I do think it's kind of interesting that when it comes to the kind of manga that people like to pick up over here in the West, it seems that it's a bit on the uncommon side for 4-koma manga to be getting released over here. Now, don't get me wrong, there are certain manga that do get released in 4-koma format. For instance, one of my favorite manga of all time, possibly my favorite comedy manga of all time, Manga Daio, is predominantly a 4-koma manga. I also do know that K-On! Is also a 4-koma manga, so you do see them released, but it just seems kind of intermittent compared to many other forms of manga. And in fact, I would argue that one of the most popular and influential 4-koma manga of all time is unavailable in English, at least in its entirety, and that is Sazai-san. Now, you might have heard of Sazai-san. It is a very, very long-running anime TV show. It's got thousands of episodes. I believe it has the Guinness World Record for the most number of episodes in an animated series. But what some people might not know is that this is actually based on a manga. And the manga, which started in the 1940s, was incredibly influential, and not just in terms of establishing stuff for the 4-koma format, making good use of it, but also for tackling many social issues of the day. And it is an absolute tour de force in Japanese popular culture, but it's something that we as Westerners have very little experience with. I do believe, if I'm correct, that Kodansha did release some bilingual releases of Sazai-san, where there was both English and Japanese dialogue within it. But as far as I'm aware, that's well out of print now, and it would be nice to see some kind of release for Sazai-san happen in the future. But the other thing that I thought might be important to bring up is that of omake. Now, omake refers to extras, and with regards to manga, there's a wide variety of omake that there can be. It can be stuff like notes from the author, it can be like additional artwork, etc., etc. But a particularly common omake is actually 4-koma. So for instance, I have very distinct memories of reading Full Metal Alchemist. And whenever I would get to the end of a volume, there was typically a couple of 4-koma, which would take some of the characters from Full Metal Alchemist in kind of non-canonical situations and just kind of portray a joke, which I found quite amusing. You see that in a wide variety of manga that's released over here. And while I admit that quite often the quality can be quite rough when it comes to these, after all these are kind of more afterthoughts than anything, they still are very nice extras to have in a manga. And so I'm always quite interested whenever I come across them. I really do like the structure of 4-koma. It's really strong in being able to deliver a joke or a punchline, and I would love to be able to experience more 4-koma someday. So that was my discussion on 4-koma manga. Hopefully you found the video informative. Let me know your thoughts on 4-koma manga, what some of your favorites are, which ones you'd recommend, which ones you're aware of being available in English, any particularly memorable omake 4-koma that you came across when reading a manga series, and any additional information I would love to hear in the comments below. And of course, if you want to support the channel, I would encourage you to use my Amazon affiliate links and my Right Stuff affiliate link in the description below. When you purchase an anime or manga through those affiliate links, not only are you supporting me, not only are you supporting the channel, but you're also supporting the anime and manga industry. So I would highly encourage you to use those affiliate links to purchase your anime and manga. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and bye bye.